Hello everyone. So as we discussed in our last podcast, so we are trying to do each day's review for this Border Gavaskar Trophy first test in Perth. So and today was the very first day. So I have Pranav with me, and it was safe to say pretty exciting, pretty thrilling cricketing action. Like for the first day of the Australian summer. I mean, nobody expected such a bowler friendly atmosphere. Like people normally expect 200, 250 to be a decent score, but 150 is proving to be something like 350 over here as of now. And like before I give it to Pranav, so just one thing, hats off to Jasprit Bumrah. Like I mean, if you see the averages, he's averaging 20 something after so many test matches and being leading the team as well. Like I mean, there aren't enough words to describe his brilliance, to be honest. And like, okay, Pranav, you take over. So, what are your thoughts on today's game?
I think effectively, if you look at what's going to happen tomorrow, you're back to square one, back to day one, because we have to bat inside Australia target. So effectively back to day one. But for me, I think what stands out is Pant and Nitish Kumar Reddy's partnership, because I think Cummins made a mistake by bringing on Nathan Lyon because it was difficult to face pacers during that time, and Reddy scored some boundaries of line to get some momentum going. Pant was pretty unfortunate. It was a good catch from Smith. But I think the way Nitish batted, you see that difference right now. They're 67 for 7. If Reddy had not batted that way, you might have been looking at a 40-run trail by now, which is now an 83-run trail. So yeah, I mean, hats off to Jasprit Bumrah as well. The way he captained the side, I think brilliant, overall brilliant cricket. There are a few question marks that needs to be answered, but I think overall good day's play. I just hope India bat well to set Australia some interesting target, and then it sets up for a very nice Sunday. So I don't know. I'm not getting into the results of the game and all that, but I think uh, it sets up for a cracking weekend. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think this match is pretty much going to end on Sunday if like things like what I'm seeing with the pitch and the everything, the scorecard and everything. So like I mean the first thing. So let's go from the very first to the decision to bat first. Like you're pretty comfortable with that. You thought that was a bold decision.
Yeah, no, I think Bumrah went with the trend. I think a lot of people on Twitter as well were criticizing him for batting first. I don't agree with that because it's a typical Perth wicket where you sort of don't get used to the bounce. You'll get uh, you know, yourself in that ball where it carries to the keeper or the slip because there were hardly any LBWs in the Indian innings, right?
True.
If you notice. Uh, Was there any LBWs? Perhaps not, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm.
There were no LBWs at all. So it's not that it's because of sea moment that India were bundled out for 150. It's because of some good bowling from Australia and credit where due. They really exploited the home conditions. I think the lack of practice game reflected on here that they opted for a center wicket practice instead of that. They could have played a game here, maybe. I mean, there's
True.
no place for ifs and buts in cricket, but just thinking out loud, if they could have accustomed themselves to the bounce because they are playing in Canberra a day-night game, um, to get accustomed to the pink ball. So something similar could have been done here, but I think it's completely right to bat first. The trends have been supporting that, so the pitch will open up. It will get even difficult to bat on. So that's why I say if India get to bat well, it could well be the game. They could go 1-0 up. Who knows?
True. Yeah. So and one more thing is, I think I think commentators and many people were saying that India could have been a bit more proactive at the top of the order. But personally, for I think that was not possible because I think the bowling was extremely good with the conditions and everything. I don't think you can play rash shots and get out. Then people will criticize you differently. So I think like given the situation, maybe yeah, Jaiswal maybe played that drive like it was not the perfect ball
No,
to
I,
go
I
for?
I don't think so because it was a good ball. You look at that, it was there to drive and Stark set him up beautifully. So yeah, I think you can't criticize too much on this inexperienced side.
True.
It's just too harsh
True. I
on them
mean,
to actually
yeah.
go deep.
Yeah, and one more thing is that I think like for the first time in a long, long while, India is going in without Ashwin or Jadeja in a test match. So with
That's a big
Washington
call.
Sundar, like, that's a huge call actually. So let's see how. I
It's a
don't think
big call.
Washington Sundar will be. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
I think I think it has more to do with the conditions and the balance. So the choice must have been between Devdutt Padikkal and an extra spinner, probably, or maybe an extra pacer. You push everyone one spot up. But I think they've gone for the right balance because in the fourth innings, Sundar will bowl because he bowls a lot of overspin. That sort of thought process. So I don't blame the team selection at all. It's pretty much what was expected, and yeah, pretty happy with the side. I won't, as I said, I wouldn't dwell a lot into this because it's a very inexperienced side.
True.
Um, the way people stood up today, NKR, Jurel a bit, he played those cuts to backward point. So I think it's pretty harsh on them to, say like you could have done better, you could have done better. No, I think they've done what they could have done best. Now hope for them to get those wickets, get a 40-50 run lead, and then from there take it.
Yeah, so I think it's very crucial, like the first hour in the morning tomorrow. I think like Alex Carey is in pretty decent form in the Sheffield Shield as well. He was like scoring a lot of runs, so he is one of the major wickets. So if Australia can get to say 120, 130, I think then it will be a one innings kind of a shootout kind of a game. But I feel that with the current situation, India should try to wrap them up below 90, 100, something like that, ideally. So get a 50-run decent lead and like go for the basically and get something around 200 in the next innings. So let's see how it goes. So exciting day of cricket ahead. And so overall, so what do you think of like Mohammad Siraj? Like many people were talking about his inclusion and stuff. I think he bowled with an economy of 1.89. And Siraj, personally, I feel that in away conditions is always much more effective than maybe in home conditions. What you see, maybe. So I think that's something to
I
look
think
ahead as well.
Siraj,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Siraj looked really well. It's about what sort of mentality that you're carrying around, and bowling especially is something that's in your head. Because, for example, when Harshit Rana was bowling to Travis Head, he bowled a few back of length deliveries, was hit for four, but then suddenly he realized that I need to bowl it, pitch it up, bowled one full because it doesn't prod ahead, just castled them out. So it's just the mentality that needs to change. So I think Siraj, you can always rely on him in away conditions, as you say. So no doubts on him at all. Yes, the home form is a sort of concern, but yeah, these five tests, if he can at least pick up 2 wickets per innings, then it'll nothing like it.
Yeah.
But he's
And
bowled
so,
decently well. Three
yeah.
wickets.
And so maybe the last question before we wrap up here. So what are your thoughts on the most controversial part of the day, KL Rahul's dismissal? I think personally, I feel he was hard done by a lot. We did not see enough
Yeah,
visuals to be
100%.
overturn the decision.
Yeah, 100%. I think KL Rahul was hard done by. I think that TV umpire should have waited a bit more. The theory that I know is that if you're unsure about the call or the evidences, you just stay with the on-field call. On-field call was not out, so ideally it should have been not out. But yeah, I mean, he was hard done. He was playing really well, playing close to his body. I just hope that in the second innings he goes on to make those, if not big runs, some runs, 80, 90s, holds one end up so that the others can score around him and we can get to that glory total, whatever it is. I mean, just just hope that it's India's day tomorrow. That's it.
True. Yeah. Yeah, as an Indian cricket fans, we hope that like we start out well tomorrow, wrap up the tail quickly because that has been a concern sometimes in overseas tests as well, wrapping up the tail quickly. So anyway, so all set
Yeah,
up for like exciting days of cricket tomorrow and the weekend to look forward to. Set up your alarms or wherever you're watching from accordingly, and we will catch up soon again tomorrow after the day's play. See you.
Bye bye. Cheers.